Anna here. So I'm so excited today to talk about chronic illness and the opportunities that our chronic illnesses hold. One of my favorite children's books, so I have two kids, love reading to them, always have, and one of my favorite children's books of all time is called What Do You Do with a Problem? And in it, the author introduces us to the main character, and the main character has a problem. And the author does such a great job of painting a picture of what it looks like to have a problem, the fear, the grief and the anxiety, and trying to run from it, trying to hide from it, trying to ignore it. And in it, we go on a journey with the main character, and as he goes through all of this emotion and his problem, it doesn't go away. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at the end, he realizes that all along, his problem held something so beautiful inside. It held an opportunity. And so as I read it, I couldn't help but think about my chronic illness and how for years and years I had health struggles that I didn't understand. So I battled health symptoms and struggles for over a decade prior to my diagnosis, and I didn't know what to do with them. I was a busy wife and mom and living my life, and I had these weird symptoms come up. I didn't connect them. I'd go to a doctor here and there, but I got no answers. And so my problem kept growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was fear, and there was anxiety, and there was overwhelm, and there was me trying to run and hide from it, trying to ignore it. And then I was diagnosed, and I realized that all along my problem held something so beautiful. It held opportunities, and I didn't want to not find those opportunities anymore. I wanted to identify, yes, I'm experiencing these hard symptoms and these difficult circumstances, but there are beautiful opportunities there. So how did I find these opportunities? Well, the first thing that I had to do was I had to own up to these are my physical struggles. This is what I struggle with. And at the time of diagnosis, those struggles changed over time, over that decade of time. At my diagnosis, the physicals, I'm a year and a half now since diagnosis. I've been on the AIP Autoimmune protocol for a year and a half. I've been learning how to live well with chronic illness, but my physical struggles at the time of diagnosis, let's just take a look at those. So it was things like struggling, to get out of bed, to take a shower, to walk up the stairs, missing my, all of my kids' events. It was things like struggling to homeschool my kids still. It was things like all of the symptoms like daily fevers and brain fog and fatigue and muscle pain and joint pain and anxiety. Anxiety, I would classify that as, it was very physical to this, though, so that does count as a physical struggle. Anyways, all kinds of symptoms, right? And so it was important that I identify and I own, okay, these are my physical struggles. And likewise, I had emotional struggles too. Things like I didn't know how to, I had sugar addiction, sugar cravings. I was an emotional eater. I didn't know, I had fear, I had anxiety, I was mourning over the life I used to have, and I had so much grief and heartbreak over, the woman I used to be, and the wife I used to be, and the mom I used to be. And so it took me time and understanding to realize that each of those struggles, all of the struggles I listed, they held something beautiful. They held an opportunity. And it just took me time to recognize and to realize that. So I started going down that list and identifying, okay, here's the problem, here's the opportunity. So let's take let's do sugar cravings and sugar addiction. I love me some chocolate, some mint chip ice cream. I loved my cheat days. I loved dark chocolate almonds every day. Like, I was addicted to sugar. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And so then I learned that I needed to try to cut that out in order to be able to get out of bed in the morning, to be able to function, to be able to be the person I want to be. I needed to try to eat according to the autoimmune protocol to give me my best shot at finding wellness again. That's what I felt was right for me. And so I'm just using this as an example. It's okay if you're on a different path, a different journey, but this was what was right for me, right? And so the problem was I was addicted to sugar, big problem. But what's the opportunity in there? The opportunity is to break those sugar cravings, to be free from those sugar cravings. So an opportunity is just an opportunity, right? Until you decide to do something about it. One of my favorite quotes ever is by Thomas Edison, and he says something like, we often miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like hard work. And in my experience, that's so true, right? An opportunity is just opportunity. We all have opportunities, right? The big difference maker is, are we willing to put on the overalls? Are we willing to do the hard work and take advantage of that opportunity? Are we willing to use that opportunity to do the hard work, to make the sacrifices, to be dedicated, to learn, to grow, to change? And that's the question. And at my rock bottom, I was willing to do that. I was willing to put on the overalls and do the hard work and get my life back. So how did I go from here's a problem, now I see an opportunity, to learning and growth and change? So let's take an example of, I mentioned I was addicted to sugar, right? So I was addicted to sugar, it was recommended by my naturopath to stop eating sugar, to start eating healthier. I found the autoimmune protocol within a couple of days of my diagnosis. I knew that that's what I needed to do personally to be able to get out of bed in the morning, to be able to take care of my kids, to be able to do the things I wanted to do. So got this problem though. Sugar is not allowed on the autoimmune protocol, right? Processed traditional sugar, right? So I've got this thing where I eat dark chocolate almonds every day and I love my mint chip ice cream, and give me all the sugar, and all the chocolate. Okay, so here's my problem. Then the opportunity is, the opportunity is for me to learn how to break those sugar cravings, for me to learn how to stop eating sugar, to be free from those cravings, right? So that's the opportunity. Then comes the learning and the growth and the hard work. So what that looked like in this example for me is, at first it looked like just stop eating sugar, just dig down deep, pull out all my grit and stop eating sugar. And that got me about, I think, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks top. And it was a struggle. It was like a battle every day not to pick up those dark chocolate almonds that I was used to eating every day, not to reach for that tub of mint and chip ice cream when I was struggling and things got ugly. And so that grit and determination only got me so far. Then was another opportunity. Okay, so now I've got a new problem, right? Because my grit is kind of wavering, and I'm kind of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can live like this. I really need my sugar. So then I'm like, okay, here's a new opportunity. That's not working. Here's a new opportunity. So what do I do? So I figured out, I found amazing resources, and I learned why processed sugar, traditional sugar, is not allowed on the autoimmune protocol. Why? On a cellular level, why is sugar bad for autoimmune disease? Why is it not good for me to eat it? What is going on in the body with autoimmune disease? Why is it bad? And as I learned scientifically why, it's not like just some, oh yeah, you shouldn't eat sugar. There's things that sugar does to the body physically that you can learn, and that was a game changer for me. Learning that, I'm like, okay, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching those, because going to my son's baseball game and cheering him on is more important to me than anything I'll put in my mouth, period. Not to mention supporting my daughter at her rock climbing, or going on date night with my husband and being able to go and not fall asleep on the way home, being able to have energy to be with my husband, if you know what I mean. So those things are more important than anything I put in my mouth. So I learned, why autoimmune disease, what it does in the body, why I shouldn't eat it. And then also I learned about how taste buds change. Did you know that? I had no idea, but taste buds change in time. So I learned that, and I figured, okay, I'm willing to wait it out. I know this is going to take time, but I'm going to eventually not care that I don't eat dark chocolate almonds, and not care that I can't have that mint chip ice cream, whatever my favorites are, And it took time, but my taste buds did change. I like fruit for a dessert now. It's been 1.5 years actually since I started the autoimmune protocol, and I do have some of the reintroductions, not very many yet, but I don't eat sugar. I haven't in 1.5 years, and except for the natural sugars allowed on the autoimmune protocol, like fruits, even some of the other ones like honey and some of that stuff, I don't do well in larger quantities. I eat very, very little, but everybody is different. Some people who are on the autoimmune protocol eat more and they don't have any issues. So I'm not saying that, the autoimmune protocol is not a one size fits all kind of thing, right? We're all different. We're all unique. So anyway, overcoming my sugar addiction and craving was a problem. I had the opportunity, I put in the hard work, and the it's been a beautiful thing in my life to not be subject, to not have those cravings anymore, not have those addictions anymore. Um, and and so our chronic illnesses really do hold such beautiful opportunities. So I will say that it is so incredibly important that we allow ourselves grace and forgiveness and understanding and patience in this process. It is not all rainbows and butterflies. I mean, I'm telling you my experience, and it may seem like, oh, she just quit sugar. Good for her. That must be her superpower. No, nuh-uh. If that's what I've made it seem like, no, it was ugly, and it was one day at a time, and sometimes 1 hour at a time, and it was hard. And I will say that, like, failure is a part of the process. This was not the first time I tried to give up sugar or mint chip ice cream. Like, I failed a lot of times before starting the autoimmune protocol. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. We're human, right? We're not robots. Like, we're gonna fall down. We're gonna like fall short. Like, and beating ourselves up when that happens gets us nowhere we want to be. Giving ourselves love and grace and forgiveness and being like, oh my gosh, Shanna, you're doing hard things. Like, it's okay that you fell down. It's okay. Just here, take my hand. Let's stand back up. Let's figure this out together. You know, love and grace and patience and time is such a huge part of this process of seeing our problems and then finding the opportunities and then working hard and then overcoming. And, you know, it's not like chronic illness is something that, you know, like, whoo, we've overcome, we've learned it all, right? It's it's a continual process of learning and change. My physical and emotional struggles that I have now look completely, for the most part, they look completely different than they did a year and a half ago at my diagnosis. But there's still things that I'm working on and growing. And that's something so beautiful about chronic illness, is that it gives us so many opportunities to learn and to grow and to be better versions of ourselves. We can use our autoimmune diseases and our chronic illnesses to be the best versions of ourselves, to be the best women we can be, the best wives, the best mothers, the best friends, sisters, aunts, you name it. We can use the things, we can take the opportunities that our chronic illnesses give us, and we can use them to help us to be better, to be loving, to be empathetic, to be supportive, to be kind, to be strong, to be fierce, to be patient, to be long-suffering, to be diligent, to be hardworking, to be whatever we want to be. Our chronic illnesses can help us get there. It doesn't have to be, this is our chronic illness, our lives are over as we knew it. No, we can create something so beautiful out of the ashes of our former lives, you guys. And I just want you to know that it's not this beautiful process, that sometimes it's ugly, and sometimes it's so frustrating and heartbreaking and difficult, but there's such beauty to be had, and there's such strength to be had. And I just want you to know that I'm sending you so much love and support. You are not alone. Chronic illness can be so isolating, but you are not alone. I am right there with you. There's this incredible community, chronic illness community, autoimmune protocol community. We're all in this together. And I just want you to know that I am sending you so much love and support. You may be looking at changes in the face and you know, and thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I know you can. I know you can. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be 100% worth it.